Hey guys! This is Flirty, Dirty, and Bookish. Welcome to the dark side.
Listen if you dare.
Alright guys, so today we are talking about Hideaway. We finally made it to Kai's book.
I love Kai.
Me too.
I love Banks.
Me too.
Yeah.
Banks is my top cowgirl.
Yeah, but as of right now, she's my top girl.
We are going to be doing this in the same way that we did Corrupt, where we do the chapters in the past first and then moving to the present chapters after. This way we're not going back and forth, and you get all the information you need for the future chapters at the beginning. It's just easier to listen to and easier to organize, and we're not bouncing back and forth.
Anyway, so we're gonna start off with Kai. This is 6 years ago. This is the boys' last Devil's Night in their senior year. So this is 2 years before everything that happened on that Devil's Night with Rika and Michael. Kai walks into church and hears Damon antagonizing the priest, because what else would he be doing? And then Kai walks into the confessional booth. He starts talking to himself since the priest is busy with Damon, confessing that he likes to hide and keep secrets, and he liked everything he did that was wrong. But then he hears someone on the other side of the booth. It's a girl's voice, and he goes to open the side to see who it is, but she doesn't want to be seen and only wants to talk. She tells him about the Pope in the Meridian City, how there's a 12th floor, but no one can get to it. So the Pope is a hotel, just so you guys know.
The Pope is an abandoned hotel. Nobody is there anymore.
Yeah. There's a rumor about a family who builds secret 12th floors in each hotel they build, the Pope being one of them. She said people thought it was fake until they saw a woman dancing on the 12th floor balcony. They talk more, and they talk about what Kai likes, and he likes to hunt for girls. And she says she wants him to hunt for her. She then says she'll be around for Devil's Night, and then he should find her. And then she leaves without Kai seeing her face. So he has no idea who he was just talking to.
No, he only knows her voice.
And then it jumps into them in the locker room, and they're talking about their plans for Devil's Night, and they're all going to go to the cemetery and then to Meridian City. They're on their way out with everyone when Damon cuts off the people on the motorcycle, and then one of them falls into the ditch, and Kai pulls over to help them, and they realize it's a girl, and he tries to help her, but these two big-ass dudes come up and take her away. And as she's leaving, she says, "I thought you had some people to scare tonight." To which Kai realizes she's the girl from the confessional. Will and Michael come up to him and say that the girl works at Damon's house. But Kai says he wants to scare the girl. So they all give their cars to others to drive. And then they take another car.
So now we're in Banks's point of view. She had just gotten home from after falling off of the bike. So we know that Banks is the one that was in the confessional. Banks is the one that fell and whatever. So she is at home, and she's comparing herself to the type that she believes that Kai has. So she's like, oh, Kai would like a rich girl from a family that's great and wealthy and blah, 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 tall, pretty, everything that she's not, basically. And this is when we learn that she wears all of her brother's hand-me-down clothes and that she's a year younger than the boys. We also meet her cook, Marina, who acts like a surrogate mother to her, like gives her any advice that she might need and helps her out with certain things, because we don't know this yet, but her mother is not around. We also meet Ilya, Lev, and David, three of her dad's men who she sort of has like a bond with, and they're like assigned to protect her, essentially. And she's also never gone to school or has any friends outside of her home. So she learns from doing her brother's homework, basically. So when she's at home, she hears fireworks inside her house. And she's like, what the hell is that? And she goes to run out of the room, and a bag is shoved over her head, and she's put into the trunk of a car.
Fuck.
They drive to a deserted place, and they let her out of the car, and she quickly realizes that it was Kai, Will, and Michael who kidnapped her. So after they gave their cars away to the other people, they pulled up in one of the other guys' cars and kidnapped Banks.
Because once again, that's so normal.
They're
Yep.
insane. But Kai likes to hunt, and she wanted to be hunted, so I guess he's doing what she asked. They chase her a bit through the forest, and then Kai takes her into this like worn down bell tower. He asks who she is, and she tells him that her mom cooks for the Torrances. But in her dialogue, it lets us know that that's not true, and that her dad and brother don't want people to know who she is. We still don't know who her dad and brother is, just so you guys know. And he sits her down in his lap, explains how to do a proper confessional, like the forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, you know. So she's like, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I like this boy. I like the way he touches me, blah, blah, blah. And everything she's saying, he follows what she wants. Like what she wants him to do, basically.
Yep.
But then she ends up freaking out because things get a little bit too hot and heavy for her. And he says he's sorry and that she's different and he wants to do this properly with her and actually likes talking to her. And that's when Damon comes into the bell tower. And in Banks's inner dialogue, we find out that Damon is her brother. But he pretends that he doesn't know who she is. And Banks runs away from Kai. But Damon stops her and they argue. And then Damon calls David, Lev, and Ilya to come and bring her to the cemetery to see who Kai really is.
So then we're still in Banks' point of view, and she's being brought to the cemetery by David, Ilya, and Lev, her dad's men, which we now know is Mr. Torrance. And they make her put on a hood so no one can see her. And then her and Lev walk around, and they see Kai fighting someone. She's watching the fight when Damon comes and stands beside her. And then she asks him what he wanted her to see, and Damon says just wait. What she sees next is Kai winning the fight because someone stopped it, and Kai smiling. A girl walks up to Kai and pulls him towards her by his belt. That's when Damon tells Banks that that's his girlfriend Chloe. He tells her about Chloe's achievements and how she is who Kai's parents want him to be with, and that Banks won't be the one he ends up with. Yeah, some brother he is.
He like breaks her fucking heart. Like, bro.
Like, that's so mean. Like, protecting her is one thing. That was just pure evilness. And then Banks runs away from him because she's obviously upset. And there are guys standing around an empty grave. The guys grab her and throw her into the grave and say that it's 7 minutes in heaven. And one of the guys, like, jumps in with her. And then she punches the guy. And she hears someone come up to the grave and sees Kai. Kai then scares the guys off and helps Banks out of the grave. They then hear someone calling for her, and that's when Kai learns her name. Kai calls out to them to tell them that she is there. They also hear Chloe calling for him, and Banks says, that's your girlfriend. And that's when Kai says they're not together.
Yeah, so Damon was just being a dick.
Like always.
I was gonna say, it sounds about right.
They then hook up in the grave. Kai then gives her a key card to the Pope and says he wants to go find the 12th floor with her. But then she's ripped away by David, Lev, and Ilya, and Damon. Damon then tells Kai that Banks is his, and Will shows up saying that Damon has dibs, and Damon sends Banks home and leaves.
Then Banks gets home and she's in Damon's room. She assumes Damon comes home and joins her in bed. And then he starts touching her and she freaks out and turns around to find out it wasn't actually Damon, but it was Michael.
Michael is kind of like as sinister as Damon is.
He low-key is. He's sneaky.
No, he totally is. He's just, I feel like he's better at hiding it.
Yeah, he's way better at pretending that
Yeah.
he's like normal and not fucked up. Michael's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. And then this is when Michael figures out that Banks is Damon's sister. He then carries her out of the house and throws her into the back of his car with other people and gets one of them to draw the Day of the Dead makeup on her to disguise her. They show up to the Pope and everyone starts playing this game that's a mix between hide and seek and 7 minutes in heaven. If someone finds them, they get 15 minutes alone with them. Kai is one who is searching and Banks is the one who is hiding. Will is the person who actually finds Banks and she runs away, but he catches her. They start fighting and Banks gives Will a bloody nose.
Banks is a badass. She doesn't put up a shit.
Yep. And that's when Kai finds them and pulls Banks off of Will. Kai lets her go and tells Banks to run because he wants to catch her. So Banks runs away and goes into the ballroom.
What the fuck is that? Was it your grandma's iPad?
It must have been. It should be fine. That was creepy as fuck.
Kai goes into the ballroom.
Kai goes into the ballroom to find her, but she's hiding behind the drapes. He finds her and they hook up, but they are interrupted by a woman starting to dance. It's the woman who Banks had talked about when she first mentions the Pope.
So they're still behind the drapes and everything, like, and Banks like sort of like peeks out from behind the drapes, and she instantly recognizes who the woman is. And Kai sees that she recognizes him, and he's like, "Who the fuck is that?" And Banks tells him that is Natalia Torrance, Damon's mother.
Ugh.
Bitch.
Fucking hate the bitch.
And that's when we learn that she disappeared 3 years ago when Damon had finally realized he suffered enough and fought back. We don't really know what he went through. We will more so find out in Kill Switch. Just an FYI. They go to leave and like sneak out, but his mom notices them and she recognizes Banks. And she's like, "What are you guys doing?" And Banks is like, "You shouldn't be in Thunder Bay or Meridian City." And she realizes it's Banks and is like, "Oh, is my son here?" And they go back and forth a bit because Natalia is a deranged lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, "Oh, you've grown up into a woman. Has my son touched you yet?" All like fucked up shit. They go back and forth a bit. And that's when Damon comes into the room and sees his mom. And like instantly freezes. And we get a flashback of when Banks and Damon were kids after his mom came to visit him, and he's like has to ask Banks to hurt him. So basically Damon needs to hurt on the outside so he doesn't hurt so much on the inside and things get worse because he's just piling like all this trauma and everything up, and he needs the physical release. Now flashback over back in the ballroom, Damon's mom is saying that like to Damon, "I love you, like you're my big boy, you grown up, blah 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 blah." Ugh, disgusting shit. I like don't even like really want to repeat it. And Damon loses it and grabs his mom by the throat. His mom then starts saying that Damon should take Banks home and clean her up like she used to do to him. Ooh, it's so gross. And Kai goes up to them and he's like, "Damon, like leave her alone, like just like we can't," like tries to stop it. And his mom is still goading Damon, and Kai has had enough and slaps his mom across the face, or as he should.
Mm-hmm.
And she falls into a glass table and it shatters and she passes out. Banks then sorts him out of his panic attack. And when everything calms down, they all stand up and they see that Damon's mom is hurt but still alive. Kai then wants to get an ambulance. He's like, "Come on, man, like we gotta call the cops, like whatever." And Damon's like, "Nope, I'll handle it. You guys just go." So Kai goes and takes Banks away. but she says that she will never leave Damon. But you guys have to remember, Kai doesn't know that Banks is Damon's sister. So he thinks that Damon and Banks are together and she's choosing him. Kai then leaves and Damon sends Banks home to deal with his mom.
And now we're in the present. And it starts off with Kai, and this is about a year after Corrupt. No one has seen or heard from Damon since everything happened on the boat. Kai now owns this dojo. Will is an alcoholic / drug addict. Michael still plays basketball, and Rika is still in school. Rika and Kai are at the dojo, and then Kai kind of like chases her around or whatever. And then after that, Rika ends up asking him what the building behind the dojo is, and he tells her it's the Pope, an abandoned hotel, which is where in the flashbacks they did happen that Devil's Night, and everything happened with Damon's mom and all that.
And then it goes into it stays in Kai's POV, and the boys are at Hunter Bailey, and Kai figured out that Damon probably isn't in Russia like they thought at the end of Corrupt, and that he probably didn't even leave the city. He thinks that he's waiting for Devil's Night, which is at the end of the month. The boys go to Damon's house in Thunder Bay to talk to his dad, and Kai goes to talk to him, and his dad asks if the boys have come to terms with letting Damon come home without them going against him. Kai wants to buy the Pope off of him as he is the original owner of the building. Will and Michael come into the house, and then Damon's dad sends them to the dining room to discuss the deal with his assistant. They go to the dining room, and a small girl comes in with refreshments. She seemed to be a servant, so the boys don't pay attention to her, and they start talking about the hotel and how it's a great investment for their company. But the real story is that they believe that Damon is hiding there since there's security cameras. They start to get frustrated as the assistant hasn't come yet. The butler comes in and then says, "Banks? Did you get everything you need?" Well, it turns out Banks is the assistant who was posing as the servant to see what they talk about. And Kai then remembers who she is.
The most iconic character introduction ever. Because you're like, oh, like, whatever. It's just a servant giving them drinks. And all of a sudden, Banks? Did you get everything you need? And then Kai's inner dialogue is, Banks? What the hell? Oh my god, it's so good. So later that day, Kai is walking into his dojo, and Banks and one of his dad's henchmen are there waiting for him. Kai then quickly figures out that Banks is in charge, even though they make it look like the man is in charge, because, you know, Damon Torrance's dad is a dick and thinks that women are beneath men. And so Kai figures this out and sends the guy away. He's like, let me deal with the person who's actually in charge, and I know it's her. He takes her to his office to meet with Will, Michael, and Rika. Banks then tells him that Mr. Torrance wants Kai to marry his niece to ensure that he won't bring any harm to Damon or his family, alongside giving him the Pope for free. So he's like, you don't need to buy the hotel, just marry into the Torrance family. Who the fuck would do that willingly? I don't know. Michael and Rika tell Kai to tell Banks to fuck off, and Will's like, oh, I'll marry her. Of course.
Of course, Will offers that.
Yeah, she's hot.
She's hot, but also, like, I think he just wants to feel useful in any way.
Yeah. But Kai just stays silent. He then asks them to leave him and Banks alone. Kai agrees to the deal, even though his friends didn't want him to. But he says he'll pay for the Pope because he wants his wedding present to be her. He wants Banks to work for him until the wedding. She leaves, and Kai then realizes that while they were talking, Banks had searched the city for him, meaning Damon. But Kai never said he thought that Damon was in the city, so he thinks she knows where he is. But he has no intention of getting married regardless.
And then it switches over to Banks's point of view. And Banks is talking to her dad about the deal, but she refuses to be a part of it. But her dad ends up forcing her to agree to the deal and work for Kai, which she wants no part of, but she can't really say no to her dad. Banks runs to her room and she remembers the day she met her dad and brother for the first time. She was 12. Her dad and brother didn't know like that she existed at all. And then basically her mom just left her there. And her dad ended up making her Damon's problem to take care of. Because Damon was kind of like, no, like, I want to keep my sister or whatever. And then he's like, fine, like, you want her, you take care of her. Almost like he would do with a fucking pet. Like, literally, not your daughter.
A pet.
Like, disgusting.
Like, he wouldn't buy her clothes, wouldn't do anything for her, wouldn't enroll her in school. Like, Damon had to feed, clothe, and
Everything.
do everything. And he basically had a child.
Yeah, as a child himself. Because he was only like 13 if she was 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next chapter is still in Banks' point of view, and Banks ends up taking Kai, Will, and Michael to the Pope to search it. Kai wants to find out how to get to the 12th floor, but they can't figure it out. And they're also trying to find Damon, and he isn't there either.
But they basically, Kai's like, I want to go look at the 12th, or I want to go look at the Pope and see like what condition it's in. So like when I make an offer to buy it, like I know how much work needs to go in it and whatever.
Then Banks shows up to Michael's house where they're having a party and brings the contract to Kai. And he refuses to sign it and makes changes, then makes her go get more towels for their guests. That's when Alex walks up to Banks and starts hitting on her, but Kai stops that real quick. And Alex then says, you took the threesome I wanted with Rika and Michael. But then we find out Banks already knew about this because she knows literally everything about him and his friends.
Later that day, Kai brings Banks to his parents' house for basically she's like, I need to go to Thunder Bay, and he goes, well, I'll drive you. And then he's like, are you hungry? And she goes, yeah, sort of, assuming like they'd go to a restaurant, not go to his house, but whatever. And he tells her how they actually grew up poor and how hard his dad worked and everything. They talk a bit, and then Banks finally says, like, I don't know where Damon is, but if I did know, I won't tell you. And Kai's like, well, I'm not letting you go otherwise. I don't care if you know. I don't care if you won't tell me. Too bad. I think it's the next day or the day after that. Banks runs to the dojo after an argument with her father because he's basically like, do what the fuck it takes to like get him to sign this deal. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you fuck him, whatever. And she's pissed. So she runs there in the pouring rain. And Kai and her have a little bit of a bonding moment when he takes her to the shower to warm her up because she's soaked from the rain. And Kai leaves her to finish up. And Alex brings her in clothes to wear while hers dry. But Alex, being a normal girl, has leggings, sports bras, like shirts and stuff. But you have to remember, Banks wears Damon's baggy ass jeans and massive hoodies. So Alex brings leggings and a sports bra, and Banks is like, what the fuck is this? Like, oh god. Anyways, she puts it on. She has no other clothes. She walks out, and Michael sees her and literally drops everything he's carrying because he's so shocked to see what she looks like.
Wasn't he like holding a Gatorade or something and it like spilled everywhere?
Literally everywhere. And Rika's like, get your fucking chin off the floor. What the fuck? And he's like, oh, sorry. It's just a big difference.
I think this is why I actually fell in love with Kai, because he fell in love with her when she looked like that.
Yes. Yeah, he didn't.
I was like, I fucking love you.
Yeah.
Like, that was where I was like, yeah, I'm a Kai girl too.
Yeah. And Kai pretends that he's unaffected, but like, he is. And she goes, can I get like one of the employee shirts? And Kai's like, sorry, we're all out. Knowing full well they're damn well not out. But he just wanted to see her in a sports bra and leggings. So he's like, sorry.
And then it switches to Kai's point of view. And Kai calls Banks into his office, and then he ends up giving her keys to the dojo and gives her like free reign and says that he's a good judge of character and believes she won't rip him off. And then he tells her he's made more changes to the contract, and she says anything else. And he says, no matter how you cover yourself, it's never enough. You're beautiful. And then she ignores him and walks away.
That part. Oh.
Also, just an FYI, in case you couldn't tell, Kai's like already obsessed with Banks.
He's been obsessed since the moment he met her and just like wanted to know more about her and was instantly drawn to her.
Yeah, and now here's this opportunity. So he's definitely taking full advantage of it.
Oh, he's not letting this fucking opportunity go.
No, not at all. Anyway, and then after Banks leaves, Kai calls Alex in next and gives her his credit card and tells her to take Banks shopping and doesn't give her a limit, which of course excites Alex.
She literally is like, oh, is there a limit? He goes, I'll let you know when the credit card charges start to scare me. We love a rich man.
And then Kai ends up getting a call from an unknown number. They say, have you fucked her yet? And it was Damon on the phone. And then he says, it's almost Devil's Night. Got any plans? And then he basically tells Kai he's been watching them. And then Kai goes to the Pope alone, still on the phone with Damon. And Damon says, ask me where I buried the body when I cleaned up your shit 6 years ago. And then he hangs up the phone and sees Banks go into the Pope. Kai goes inside and sees the elevator works, which she had told him it didn't the other day. They were like taking the stairs.
Yeah, like they walked into the Pope and there was like no power.
Yeah, but she did in fact know how to turn the power on. And then he sees that Banks took the elevator to the 12th floor. Kai goes into the elevator like after it comes back down, and he tries to figure out how to get to the floor. He pressed 11 and 13, and then he tried it at the same time, and then that's when a hidden keypad opened on the back wall. He tries the building code and it doesn't work. All of a sudden the door opens and Banks is on the other side. He accuses her of lying and knowing where Damon is, but she says she doesn't. He ends up searching the room and finds proof that Damon was there at one point, but he is not there anymore. Kai says that if she just asked him not to hurt Damon, he won't, but she won't ask him for anything. And she refuses to ask for anything from anyone, so she's like, no way in hell. And then they argue, and then they start to hook up. He starts fucking her, but soon realizes that she's a virgin. Kai freaks out that he did that to her, and she says, yeah, you didn't expect that coming, did you?
You have to realize, this whole time, Kai thinks that Banks and Damon are together. He knows that they have slept in the same bed. Why the fuck would she be a virgin?
Right, that's where it starts clocking him in the head. He's like, wait a second.
He's like, what the fuck is actually going on here? There's like more that I don't know.
Yeah. And he knows how Damon is. Like, he would have obviously fucked the fuck out of her.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And because like Damon has the whole like hold on her, and like in the past he's like made comments like, oh, blah blah blah, like she's mine, and you know, sexual comments about his sister. Gross. But that's Damon for you.
So Kai is still freaking out, and Banks throws him off of her. He grabs her and says that he would have been more gentle if he knew. And he says, pretend it's 6 years ago in the confessional. And Banks eventually calms down, and they have sex like properly this time. Motherfucker.
But it's a really cute moment because like he's like just pretend it's us, and like I'm not really Kai and you're not really Banks, and we're in the confessional, and yeah.
Kai tells Banks to meet him at Hunter Bailey. She wants him to sign the contract, but he doesn't want to. But he wants to keep her around. So he asks what she would do, and she takes the contract and signs it for him.
Literally exactly like his signature that she has seen on his other things that he has signed at the dojo.
Yep.
He goes, oh, great. Well, I guess we're doing this.
Back at the dojo, Banks picks a fight with Rika, and Kai breaks up the fight and tells Rika to leave them alone. And then he says they will talk somewhere else.
But they don't end up talking. It's a couple hours later, and Kai still hasn't talked to Banks, and Banks is fuming about this. Like, what the fuck? Does he want to talk to me about it? I don't get it, whatever. And this is when Alex texts her to meet her at an upscale department store. So Banks goes there, obviously, because she's like their little assistant. And she realizes that the store is closed just for them to go shopping. Will is also there to hang out, help. We don't really know, but he's there. Alex and Will pick out clothes for Banks. Will picks out a full lingerie set for her, obviously.
I mean, this is Will we're talking about. Are we really that surprised? No.
Not at all. Banks is like, I don't want Kai buying clothes for me. But Will's like, oh no, it's a business expense because you work for us now. So it's not a present from Kai. It's, we want you to look better for our business. And she goes, oh, okay, I guess so. Whatever. And so she lets them buy them clothes, and they're driving home, and they're driving back, and they're going to drop her off at her house when Banks' phone rings, and it's Damon. And he's like, oh, did you have fun tonight? And so we realize that not only is Damon watching the rest of the boys in Rika, he's also watching Banks. And Damon's like, he's going to die. Not because he betrayed me, but because you did. Basically, because they fucked. So he's going to kill Kai. Great. Love that. And Damon lets her know that he knows where Kai is right now. He's like, oh, it's Wednesday night. He's at church, isn't he? So Banks freaks the fuck out and redirects him to go to the cathedral where she knows Kai will be because she's basically a stalker.
And then Banks shows up at the cathedral but sees Kai is okay and alone, so she doesn't mention that Damon called her and redirects the conversation to the wedding, to her cousin. And then Kai says that he saw the charges for her new clothes and asks why she isn't wearing them. And Banks says that she is and takes off her jacket to show the new lingerie they bought. In other words, the ones Will picked out.
Yes.
He ends up chasing her and catches her and says they still need to talk about her fight with Rika, so he drags her into the confessional booth. He explains how he felt after prison and how he felt like he couldn't be with a woman. So when the thing happened with Rika, it wasn't because he wanted Rika, it was because she was there for him. He tells Banks that Rika isn't the one he wants and that he wants her. Aww. He puts her standing between his legs so she's facing him and makes her do a confessional. She admits that she likes him, and he fucks her in the confessional booth. That's like
Spicy.
gotta be like so many sins wrapped up in one.
Oh yeah, they're going to hell real quick.
Yeah,
At least they're going
for that one.
together.
Yeah. Honestly, they're all going to hell. So
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like the devil might kick them out. Just be like, fuck, I'm done with your shit. Get the fuck out.
Oh no, I think the devil might be like, nah, you guys own my throne. Here you go.
Yeah.
It passes it on.
The devils.
And then Alex and Will come into the church, but they can't see them, so they end up leaving because they have no idea where they've gone.
But they fully interrupted them. They're like, Banks? What are you doing? Where are you? And Will's like, she's not here. And Alex is like, what the fuck? Where'd she go? And the guy's like, shh, be quiet.
Be quiet. Don't let them know we're fucking in the confessional booth. Like,
But they don't
Jesus.
stop fucking.
No, they keep going. And then Banks's phone rings and she sees that his soon-to-be wife and her cousin Vanessa has fucking arrived early.
Then Banks is in Damon's room, and Kai and Rika will show up to the Torrance's house. They're all there to meet Vanessa.
Ew, I hate that name.
Yeah.
It gives the sea witch from The Little Mermaid because it's literally the name she chooses. Ugh.
Vanessa takes Kai outside to talk privately. Sorry, I had to say it like that. Which bothers Banks, obviously. Banks then takes the steaks that were for their dinner and feeds them to the dogs.
And her dad is not fucking happy about this. He
No.
goes, where's the steaks? And he goes, I fed them to the dogs.
I fucking fell in love with her when she did this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, bitch. Vanessa tells Banks to empty her bags. While she's doing so, she hears people in Damon's room, and it's Rika and Kai talking. Rika says Kai has gone too far, and Kai says he has a plan to trust him. Kai sees Banks' clothes in Damon's room and asks why she lives there and who she is, and she responds with, your favorite enemy.
Get a girl.
Kai then asks her to be with him, but Banks says that she loves Damon and won't let him be hurt and walks out of the room. My heart.
I know. I feel so bad.
Banks then takes Will, Rika, and Kai to the guest house as she was told. Damon's dad is trying to get Kai to sign, but he refuses, so one of his men takes Banks and the other men restrain Kai, Will, and Rika. Kai wants Banks out of there and gives Banks the choice to leave or stay, but she chooses to stay because she loves Damon. Kai then says, "If you don't come with me, it's war," and takes the pen and signs the contract and grabs Banks by the collar and drags her out.
So in reality, he acted like she had a choice, but she had none.
Yeah, no.
No.
They're all yelling at Kai for signing, and he finally tells them that Damon has something on Kai, and that it's that Damon's mom is dead because of him, and explains what happened at the Pope.
Yeah. So remember when Damon called him and was like, "Do you know where?" Or when Damon called Kai and Kai's like, "Where's the body?"
Yeah.
Referencing his mom because Damon said, "I'll take care of it." So after that, Kai leaves by himself, and Will and Rika drop Banks off at Kai's house. I don't know why they couldn't have gone together, but whatever. Banks walks in, but she doesn't see him, and the lights are off. So remember, Kai lives in this creepy old Victorian house, just so you know. So it's creepy as fuck when she walks in there and there's no lights on. And he makes her look for him throughout the house. He is texting her colder, warmer, blah blah blah. And he finally shows himself. He then walks into the primary bedroom and opens the fireplace to reveal a hidden passageway. Banks then follows him down and inside, and it's the inside of a different house, which she soon realizes the actual house that he actually lives in. No, he doesn't live in this rundown Victorian house that has no lights, that is horrible. It should be taken down. Kai then bathes her and leaves her to talk to Michael, Rika, and Will, who showed up at his house, and Banks falls asleep.
And then Banks is woken up by Alex, and Alex tells Banks that Kai is working from home, but he's busy with the caterers for the pajama party Will wanted to have for Devil's Night. Why am I not surprised that that's what Will wanted to do for Devil's Night?
Not at all.
No. He just wants everyone to be around him, be comfy and cozy in pajamas, but also in his head he thinks pajama fight, women, pillow fight.
Yeah. Sexy lingerie and alcohol, pillows, yes.
Forgetting that literally the only one there that's technically single and not claimed is Alex. Yeah. Oh, and then Alex tells her that she's basically there to hang out with Biggs while he does this. It's not Devil's Night, but it's the weekend before, since Devil's Night lands on a weekday.
And they're grown boys with proper jobs, so they can't do a party during the week.
I mean, Will does on his own, but the other two.
Oh, Will.
Yeah, Will. At the party, Banks is in a closet looking for candles because the power had gone out when Michael walks in to confront her about her fight with Rika. Rika and Banks walk in and ask what's going on. Rika then says to Banks that she doesn't need to be jealous and that she doesn't have feelings for Kai like that. Banks says she's not jealous, and then Michael asks her if she wants to get even. Michael turns to Rika and says Kai got to have her, so to make it fair, he should have Banks.
I fucking hated that Michael said that. Why? You want Rika so bad, and you've wanted her this entire time. Why are you offering to fuck your best friend's girl while your girl is there? I'm sorry.
I don't know. At that moment, I was just like, what the fuck, Michael?
Pissed me off.
Bro, shut the fuck up. Anywho.
Anywho.
And then Banks turns it on Michael and says, screwing you puts me on an even keel with her? I don't set my sights that low. I want to be on an even keel with Kai. Rika understands what she's saying, but Michael is confused because he's an idiot.
Yeah, dumb boy brain.
It literally goes right over his head. Rika then tells Michael, it means if Kai got to have me, so does she. Rika and Banks then start hooking up. Then Michael and Kai take over, and they do their thing in the closet.
Because they can't let the girls just have fun on their own. They have to fucking join in.
They have to.
Boy brains.
Yeah, dumb boy
Mhm.
brains. The next morning, Banks is alone in Kai's bed again. She then hears Will, Rika, Kai, and Michael talking about Damon and about an envelope they received. Apparently, the envelope was filled with items that they assumed were things that Damon sent.
Banks and Kai then wake up in bed together and they find out that the dojo is on fire. David shows up. I know. So sad.
So sad. And like she's like laying in bed and he's about to get up and she's like, no, wait. He's like, why? She's like, it's gonna ruin it once you wake up. She knows it's on fire and there's nothing you can do about
No.
it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And can't they see it from like the
Yeah.
distance? It's just burning.
I felt so bad for Kai. Like, that dojo is his baby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
David shows up to the house to take Banks back because Vanessa has been scared off and now the contract doesn't stand. Banks goes to leave and turns to Kai saying, it was all so easy. All you had to do was find out my name. And she leaves. Michael then tells Kai that Banks is Damon's sister.
Which, why the fuck didn't he do this
I don't know.
earlier?
Pissed me off.
I mean, I guess he was giving her a chance to do it herself. I don't fucking know.
Why didn't he do a Devil's Night?
I don't know.
Like, how many years ago? 6, 8, whatever. How many years ago?
We know why, because Michael likes to be in control of everything.
Stupid
True.
boy brain.
They go to Gabriel's office
Gabriel is Damon's dad.
where Banks is and says the contract is still void because he has a daughter.
Valid.
So he's now forcing Banks to marry him tonight. He also shows them the phone they recorded all their Devil's Night shit on, showing that they never actually destroyed it for leverage on Damon.
Yeah. So remember how we said that in Corrupt? Oh yeah, it was destroyed? No. Unless it was just a play and fake, but you never know. You actually don't find out. So Banks now is showing up at the church for her wedding, dressed and ready to go, but not happy at all. She's wearing a black dress and combat boots. That's actually a vibe.
I thought
wanna
of
do
you
it.
when I read that part.
I kind of want to do it. My mom, I keep saying I want a black wedding dress so bad. My mom's like, you cannot. I'm like, but
You can
why?
actually do whatever you want.
It's my favorite color.
I think you'd look weird in a white dress. It wouldn't be right.
I agree. I think I'd look at her and be like,
It'd be so weird. And if you do
I
wear a white
literally-
dress, we have to make that
No.
TikTok where it's like, what are you wearing? Black. Oh, today I'm wearing white. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you're not.
like, ew.
What if I wore a black dress and I made everyone wear white?
See, that would be beautiful. I think it'd still be the classic wedding
be-
colors,
yeah.
the black and white suit
Yeah.
and tie.
Yeah,
But you have the black beautiful dress, and then
And
we have
he
like
wears a
shorter
black-
white little.
like long white satin dresses. Yeah,
That would be so.
and I make him wear. Okay, now we're planning my
Side
wedding.
tangent.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyways, and so she walks down the aisle and sees her dad's there and the men and everything. So they say their vows, sort of. Well, Kai's like, okay, like let's just skip this part. Yeah, I do. She's like, yeah, I do. When it's time to kiss, Kai turns like he's about to kiss her, keeps turning, and walks straight out of the church, leaving her there. And Will, Michael, and Rika just follow him out. And Banks is left there at the altar.
Yeah, married to him, but he didn't kiss her. Fucker. Little shit. Anyhow. Anyhoodle. And then
Boodle.
and then it switches to Kai's POV and Banks shows up at Kai's house and he tells her to eat, but she turns around and goes to give her men food because her men are outside. And Kai isn't happy about this, but Banks refuses to let them go. So he agrees to let her go outside. She comes back to eat and Kai tells her that he wanted to marry her, not for Damon or the contract. Which makes the fact that he didn't kiss her make literally zero sense.
I know. It's why not just kiss her? But honestly, it was because Damon's dad, her dad, was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, side note, this time they're eating ramen, and there's like Japanese culture things. You don't put your chopsticks across the bowl or like whatever it is. And he's like sitting there like giggling to himself, like she just broke like 5 things of etiquette, but I'm gonna let her be.
Yeah, leave the girl alone. Because doesn't she use a fork or something? Because she can't even get the chopsticks to work, or
No, he teaches her how to use the chopsticks. Well, okay, so she tries and fails, teaches her how, and he goes to teach her how to use the chopsticks. She still doesn't do it properly and is like splashing in all these things, and yeah.
it's a mess. And then the next morning, Kai leaves Banks in bed, and because he gets a phone call from Damon. Kai ends up asking him, like, where are you? And Damon responds with, I wish I could tell you. He nearly fucking chirped.
Because he goes, I wish I could tell you.
He's such an idiot. Anyway, dumb boy brains. I really do, because it's just too good. If you'd only done just a little more research, man. And then he hangs up on Kai. Damon's like, he's taunting him so fucking much. I wish I could say I didn't love it, but I did.
I was just gonna say I fucking love Damon so much for this shit. Like, oh, top tier.
God tier. Kai ends up organizing Banks's men and tells them to go get Will and Rika and then bring them to his house and lock it down once everyone arrives.
Kai then is back at the Pope searching for more information on where Damon could be. Kai thinks about how the Pope isn't that old and there should have been another hotel the family built before this one with a private floor.
Yeah.
He calls Michael, and Michael figures out that the Torrances owned the Delcor and sold it in the 80s. So they race to the Delcor. They talk to the building manager and find out that there is a service elevator that hasn't been used in years. They take the elevator to the secret floor, and they find proof that Damon had been living in the building. They're all living in for a year, and they didn't even know it. And then Kai gets a text to meet at the Pope at 9 p.m. from the one and only Mr. Damon.
So iconic that he has been in and out of the building that Michael now owns, that they're all living in. No wonder why he could keep such a good eye on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was literally living right under their noses. Like, literally.
And they had no idea.
Because if it's the 12th floor, isn't like Rika on like the 14th?
Because it's the top.
Yeah, he's like right below them because she's like up near.
Aren't they?
Well,
all,
she's in the
both on
penthouse
the
now,
top?
but Will's the one right below.
Yeah, and then right below that would be the secret floor, wouldn't it be?
Mhm.
Yeah. Sneaky motherfucker. Love him. So Kai then returns home with Michael, and everyone else is there. Banks, Will, Rika, and Alex. And he tells them what's going on, that they have to go and meet Damon at the Pope at 9 o'clock. And the girls are to stay at the house with David and Lev. And this is when they tell each other that I love you. Which is really cute.
So
Because he's like, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. Like, I love you. And she's like, I love you, do whatever. So the boys then go to the Pope. But Damon isn't there. They're looking all over for him. They're like, what the fuck? He should be here by now. And then Kai's phone rings, and it's Damon on the phone. Kai's like, where are you? And Damon's like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. And he says that Kai can't take Banks from him, and then hangs up the phone. The boys figure out that Damon wanted them to be split up because Damon knew that the girls would stay at the house and the boys would go. And that Damon is actually at the house where the girls are.
And then it switches to Banks' point of view. The girls are at the house, and then there's a storm coming. So Banks sends David and Lev off to find flashlights and candles. The lights then go out in the home, and David and Lev come back. Alex and Lev go upstairs to put candles there, while like Rika and Banks cover downstairs. And then David ends up going upstairs after them. Banks then notices a window open, and they hear a loud noise upstairs. When they go upstairs, they see Alex and Lev hooking up. Banks sends Lev off to find David, and then they hear pounding above them again, and look for David and Lev. They go back downstairs and see Kai standing in the doorway wearing his mask. Banks runs up to him and hugs him, and then she starts asking where Michael and Will are. And that's when Rika says that Kai is calling her, and the person she is hugging is not Kai, but actually Damon. They ask him where David and Lev are, and Damon says they are tied up in the basement. Damon didn't come alone, though, and there are 2 other men he came with. They end up taking a hold of Alex and threaten her life, so the girls stop fighting them.
Do you think that Miles Anderson was one of those men?
I do.
Wouldn't put it past him.
No, I definitely think one of them is Miles. Yeah. And then Damon gets a hold of Rika and whispers something in her ear, but we don't know what he says, but it's kind of weird because as he's whispering in her ear, she kind of starts fighting him off, and then she kind of just looks at him like with a weird look.
You know, he says
and then doesn't say
something,
anything.
like, fucking off.
You know, it's something that like grabs her attention. Yeah. And then the boys come home and Rika hits Damon over the head with a glass bottle. Clearly it didn't grab her attention enough. And then Banks gets the girls through this secret tunnel, but she closes the door behind them. Banks tells the boys where the girls are and they end up going after them, but Kai stays, so it's now just Kai, Banks, and Damon. Damon tries to make Banks choose between him and Kai, but before she answers him, Will jumps on Damon. They're like in the backyard now. And then Kai pulls Banks away, and Michael, Alex, and Rika come back. They watch as Will beats the shit out of Damon, but Damon does not fight back. Will finally stops beating on him, and Kai goes up to him asking where the body is, and Damon says, gone. Then Damon tells Kai that Kai did not kill his mother, and that she was fine when Banks and Kai left, but that she is dead now. So they end up putting two and two together, that Damon killed her after they left.
Fuck yeah.
And that's when they see a fire in the house, and Rika and Banks start to put the fire out. Like, they run back in and they notice, like, one of the candles tipped over because of the wind, because it, like, a tree branch came through the window or something, broke it, wind, candle, drapes, got on the drape, now there's a fire. So Rika and Banks are trying to put it out. Oh, but then the fire, like, is getting too much, so Kai pulls Banks away. And the rod that's holding the drapes that are on fire breaks, and they're about to crash down on Rika, and Michael's like running for her, but he's not going to make it in time. But then Damon, who they assumed must have run away when they went into the house, pulls Rika to safety. Why did he do that, I wonder?
Interesting.
Does he perhaps have feelings? Does he actually care? Well, he has a heart.
Great.
And then Kai tells Rika and Michael to deal with it and make whatever decision they want about what's going to happen to Damon. Like, do they call the cops? What do they do? Because obviously Banks doesn't want anything to happen to her brother. And Kai's like, well, I'm not going to do something that's going to hurt her. I'll let them decide.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be the one to make a decision that would possibly affect her and go against what she wants.
Yeah, so he's kind of like, I'm going to stay out of it. You guys decide what you want to do. And then, surprising everyone there, Rika tells him to leave. And then Damon leaves before she can change her mind. But then Banks chases Damon out of the house and asks if he ever actually loved her. And he says, love is pain, Nick, and never felt good. And then she asks him, not even my love? And he responds with, I don't want to hurt you anymore. That's all I know. And he leaves. Damon.
I feel so bad for him.
Me too. I'm gonna cry.
Not us crying. Banks and Kai are in bed, and Kai says he will give her an annulment if she wants one, and they can start over if she wants, but she says no. And Kai goes to shower, and Banks calls Will to help her with something. They take Kai's old Jeep to her dad's, and they steal the dogs that the dad's been fucking abusing to give
Good
them a safe
girl.
home.
As you should.
This made me so happy.
I was so excited. Poor Will's like, what the fuck am I doing here? Why am I here? What is happening?
It's a good cause, I
And
swear.
she's like, just get the dogs in the car. Let's go. And he goes, what if it bites you? She goes, I don't give a fuck. Let's go.
Then they get them all in the car and they go to leave, but Banks turns back and gets Damon's snakes out of his room and the chef and takes them all back to Kai's house. I loved that she went back for the chef too.
Yeah.
Like, so
Marina.
sweet.
I would also like to point out, just before this entire moment, like before she did this and before they went to bed and everything, Kai had told her he likes his house quiet. And she said, well, I'm not quiet. He goes, I can make an exception for you. For you. Just remember that.
Kai's not happy about the dogs and the snakes, and then Banks says, "Oh, and I kind of brought Gabriel's cook. We could use her, right?" And Kai says, "Yeah, fine, fuck, whatever. Bring everybody. Doors are open. Why the hell not?" Banks says, "One more thing." And Kai says, "I think I might cry." But she was just messing with him and told him she wants to shower with him.
Honestly, the I think I might cry is like me.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I have so much podcast stuff I have to do. I think I might cry.
And yeah, then it goes into the epilogue.
Now, this isn't a normal epilogue. You know, usually the epilogue is one of the people from the couple, and it's a little bit later, and they're telling you what's going on.
So, just a side note. I'm just going to tell you guys something about me. I read like the last half of a chapter, last page, last full chapter of books before I start them. I don't like surprises. I want to know what happens before I start something. I read this
Gets her in
epilogue.
trouble.
I was confused as fuck of what was going on because it's in third person.
Yeah, so speaking of, the epilogue is in third person, so you have no fucking idea at all who's like what's going on, who this is, what's happening. So you're following this person, and they're in the cemetery, and they end up going up to Edward McCallahan's grave, which you learn more about later.
You
but I'll just
learn
give
really about him in Nightfall.
You learn a lot about him in Nightfall. I think you might learn like maybe a slight bit in Killswitch. I don't remember. But mostly you learn about it in Nightfall, so I'll just give you like a little bit tidbits so you understand. But he's this basketball legend who died like years ago. Anyway,
yeah, it's a big lore of Thunder Bay.
So this person is standing at his grave, and he's like talking like his mother is buried there, and then whips out his dick, so you know it's man. Whips out his dick and pisses on the grave. And then security comes up, and he's like, "Hey, like, what are you doing here? Like, you know, we're no visitors at this time, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Oh, sorry, I was just coming to visit my mother." And he's like, but that's Edward McCallahan's grave." And he's like, "Oh, oops, my mistake." And then the security guard's like, "You know, if you come back in the morning, I can help you, like, look for your mother's grave. Like, what's her name?" And he's like, "No, it's fine. I don't think I'm going to be back here for a while." And then he leaves. And that's when you realize it's Damon, because obviously, but in his head, it just states that he's not done with them yet, but there's someone else that he has to get revenge on. And then as he's leaving, the night guard just tells him, and then as he's leaving, he just looks at the night guard. He's like, "I'll leave. Happy Halloween." And the caretaker tells him, "You too." And then he's in his head, he's like, "Indeed." So Damon's up to shit, and yeah. So the next episode is going to be on Damon Killswitch. Finally,
my man.
Yeah.
Sorry if you guys have watched.
Yeah, if you're
confused
you
know what that
at
is.
this point and you don't know why she's so excited about Damon, I promise he redeems himself.
He really does, because I didn't think at first. I was like, "Yeah, fuck this guy." No, he's like my favorite now.
Yeah, he full-blown redeems himself. Yeah,
He corrupted me.
We have another convert, guys. We have a Damon girly.
I love Damon so much. If I was to rank them, Damon would be 1.5. Like, I love Damon so much, would put him at 1, but I can't because I'm a Will girly at heart, and I love Will so much. But Damon's a very close second. Like, I wouldn't even call him second. He's like 1.5.
See, like, Will's my third.
Bitch. I don't understand how you could do that to Will.